inthemiddle.com. Adventurize your midlife. I hope you're out there taking great adventures. We are going to talk about a cool adventure. It's kind of an inner adventure. I'm here with Barbara Berg. She is a Ring Shui expert, or the Ring Shui expert. Nice to have you on the show.
Nice to be here, Tracy. I've had one midlife crisis after another, but this is my best one yet.
There's nothing like a couple of good midlife crises to get you going. Okay, so tell us how you got into Ring Shui. Tell us what it is.
I have written my first book, What to Do in Life is Driving You Crazy. And I have to tell you, I wrote it when I was 42 to see, should I stay with my husband or should I leave? Well, I left. And I understand why, and I'm glad now in the long run. I learned so much and all of that. But when I left, my life was for a while even worse than it was with him. Here I thought if I just let him go, my life will get better. And I realized in my midlife, I was more of my own problem than anything else. So then when I wrote my next book, I always thought that writing would bring me love, and it sure is. I love to do it.
Well, it's kind of romantic to be a writer.
It's kind of romantic.
I've kind of heard that before.
But then I found it didn't hug me at night. So here I am working on my second book. What's the matter with me? I thought I escaped my trap, but I realized my trap was myself. I didn't let myself be loved. I was running around doing everything, and I thought that what I did would bring me love, and I was just out of my mind, and I realized I started to look at clients that I was working with and people I did workshops with, and I started to hear a listening for women who are disappointed in relationships and women who are happy in relationships. And right during that time, I had this amazing mentor, and I went to him. He was a great doctor, too, of chiropractic. And when he said something, I really listened, and all he said was one time, Barbara, you're going to want to have love in your life again. You're wearing a ring on your left middle finger. That's going to bring you conflict. Take it off. Tracy, in that moment I thought, he's right. I took it off. I never thought about it again.
Okay, so all we have to do to find our love adventures is to switch our rings?
It kind of rolled into that.
Okay.
And that's part of the message, that you never know what's significant in your life sometimes till later. So I took the ring off. After that, I started just putting rings on different fingers. It never occurred to me that there was a correlation between where I wore my rings and how my life went.
Okay, so what happened? You took the ring off, and then what?
I took the ring off,
Voila,
and then
the man showed up?
Things just got easier. People seemed to get nicer.
Okay.
I seemed to be less difficult. I was less so tied up with myself.
Yeah, okay.
Then I started writing my next book. I always wrote when I was upset. So I'm writing How to Escape the No-Win Trap. As I'm writing it, I'm noticing that it seems like when women talk about being disappointed in their relationships, they sound different than when there's hope at the end of the road. And as I was writing that, I started to look. When women are disappointed, I seem to notice they seem to be wearing rings on their middle finger or their thumb, or both.
Okay.
And when they were more copacetic, let's give it a shot. I know I was hurt, but let's keep trying. They seem to wear rings on their index finger or their ring finger. And I thought, nah, you gotta be kidding me. And over time, I would start to talk to women about changing their rings and how it would go. And were they willing to, or were they not ready yet, or what was going on? But I knew there was a connection. So can I tell you? I mean, I'm going here.
So tell us.
Over time, I was on this podcast a couple years ago with Dr. Wright. She has a TV show and a podcast. And I really got to know her, and I really liked her. And she goes, well, Barbara, what are you going to talk about today? And I just looked at her because I'd been thinking about there's something to us. And it came flying out of my mouth during the podcast. I said, Doc, I'm going to talk to you about hand shui. That's what I called it at first.
So you just made it up. Now see,
it came flying out of my mouth, Tracy.
There is a great adventure. Just, you act as if, and then the adventure emerges.
It totally evolved, and then Dr. Wright had me on his TV show. And as I found myself speaking, I was listening to what was in my heart all along. I've done this before where I would think about a poem, and 10 years later I'd write it.
So let's tell everyone, because we're running out of time, what they need to do. You've got these rings.
I gotta tell you what I've been noticing. Do you want me to bring it up there?
Yeah, or do you want to take one?
I can take one.
Why don't you take one and I'll tell me about it?
I have to tell you what happened.
Okay,
this is a ring this amazing guy George gave me, who I'm married to now.
So does it matter what, now you guys aren't going to be able to see this very well, but does it matter what the ring is or just
I
where
will tell you,
wear
there's
it?
a big conversation about that.
This is a little hand holding a pearl.
It's a Carrera ring, and George gave it to me, but this is the point. Yes, there's so much discussion. Should you wear moonstone, lapis, citrine, topaz? Yes, yes, yes. And more than that, if it lights you up, honey, you wear it. That's what I found in my observation. This is about observation. This is really not even about cognitively knowing. I just observed this.
Okay, so Barbara, tell us as we run out of time here.
Over time,
look at my hands. Give me a ring assessment.
If you want stability in your life like you never knew, put a ring that moves you on your right ring finger.
Okay.
Now I want to say this to you, Tracy, really fast. Tracy is moving into letting more love, more abundance, more love in her life than she ever thought. And this is a good way to start. And you're a powerhouse. Notice this is rectangular.
Let me show them.
This is kind of masculine.
Here's what I have on my hand right now. You can see this one big ring. Don't look at my bad manicure. And then my ring on my forefinger.
But the good news is you have it on your right index finger, which means you're sincerely hopeful for love and abundance in the long run.
So do I keep it there?
Now you're ready to have a smaller, more round, receiving, feminine ring.
Okay.
And you pull this out when you have a big meeting someplace.
Okay, so I better take it off now.
Take it off right now.
Because you have just advised me.
Put you in receive mode.
Okay, so in conclusion, because we're out of time here.
Now we're in the index finger. This is when you want to release, put out to the world, and let people know who you are, what your message is.
So it's the ring on this finger. Okay.
This is where the laws of attraction take their changes and make their action. Then you put a ring here, if you can get it all the way on. This is the queen bee finger that brings it on in. When you're ready to release, put out, and do, you put your right finger in your right hand. When you want to bring in and have the goods, honey, and sit like the queen bee and be, you put it on your left hand. And I'm telling you, my husband even says it works every time.
Great. Well, Barbara Berg, go to barbaraberg.com. Here is her book, everybody. Check it out. Check your rings. See if they're in the right place.
It turned into ringsway.com. And you know what? If it works for you, wear it. Move your rings. Change your life.
I love it.
I love it.
So here's to many more adventures in this new year. Happy New You, and see you next time. I'm Tracy Patton.